Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the first car video on the YouTube channel. So today's a very interesting day. We're actually going down to our friend Lawrence's warehouse to pick up a Lamborghini Huracan Performante Spyder. The Lee Collection has been kind enough to loan us one of these vehicles. I will put a link to their social media in the description below. And we're going to go and take a Huracan Performante Spyder out. Interesting synchronicity for me. I used to own a Huracan Performante. It wasn't a Spyder, it was a hardtop. So this will be the first time I've driven a Performante Spyder, and we're going to do a bit of a review. I'm going to make some of these videos about 24 hours with a certain type of car. So naturally, this being the first one, this is going to be 24 hours with a Huracan Performante Spyder. So we're going to head off down there in a minute. We're going to pick up the car, and I will check back in with you guys and girls along the way. And yeah, let's get it. Alrighty guys, so we're just on our way down to the Lee Collection warehouse right now. They have a massive collection of cars, hypercars, supercars, SUV, lots of custom design cars, wide body cars, Mansory cars. I'll give you guys a bit of an insight into the warehouse when we get down there, but they have a very, very, very impressive car collection. As I said, we're going to pick up the Lamborghini Huracan Performante Spyder today. This is the first time that I have driven a Perf Spyder, and this is the first time I've driven a Huracan since 2022. This will be about 2 years now since I last drove a Huracan. In my opinion, and I am biased because I used to own one, the Huracan is one of the best Lamborghinis ever made. They're fast, they've got a good gearbox. It's one of the last V10 naturally aspirated cars that Lamborghini will ever make. Specifically, the Huracan, the Performante Spyder, is the last track-focused V10 Lamborghini ever made. The STO obviously is rear-wheel drive. The Performante is all-wheel drive. So that car will always hold a special place in my heart. I find it very synchronistic that that is the car that we're going to collect today. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's this particular car has a supercharger fitted to it, so I'm anticipating it will be quite different to the Huracan Perf that I used to have, but nonetheless we'll give you guys a bit of an insight into it once we get down there and once we pick it up. One of the other important things I wanted to talk about is the importance of values. Now, a few years ago I got clear on what my top 3 values are, which is travel, family and experience. And experience was a hard one for me to filter down. What actually happened initially was I initially landed on cars, and the reason I landed on cars is because cars occupied such a large part of my life at the time when I did this exercise. And after filtering it down a little bit, it went from cars to freedom. And the reason it went to freedom is because as a teenager, I didn't feel as if I got enough freedom. I didn't feel as if I was allowed to express myself and do as I pleased, and therefore I valued freedom. One of the ways in which I got that freedom was through cars and through my association with cars. Every time I was in a car, whether it was a fast car, a modified car, a car with a good sound system, I felt a sense of freedom when I was in it. Now, when I filtered it down another layer deeper from there, I landed on experience. And the reason I landed on experience is because I can achieve that outcome in a variety of different ways. It doesn't have to be car related. It can be jumping out of an airplane. It can be walking along the beach. It can be going mountain biking in a picturesque location. It could be going camping in nature. There are a lot of different ways that I can bring into my existence an experience and have a good time enjoying that experience. And even though a lot of what I put out on social media is very serious, it's focused around health, wealth, and mindset, I want to give you guys a bit of an insight into what it's like to live life in accordance with your values. Now, if you know me personally, or if you've spent any time with me, you will know that my life is designed and constructed around travel, family, and experience. It's basically all I do. When I'm not working, I'm involving my life with travel, family, and experiences. And this is one of the things that we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be giving you guys some insight into a little bit more behind the scenes. You know, I'm about to fulfill one of my experience values, and although I'm talking to you guys on this video, you know, the little kid inside of me is excited about the fact that I get to live out an experience which not only is centered around cars, but also centered around, I guess, a little bit of travel as well. It's a beautiful day here today in Perth. The sun is shining. It's the Christmas holidays, and I'm about to fulfill my experience value by driving a car which happens to be the first supercar that I ever purchased by a brand, Lamborghini, which I grew up watching as a child. Where I grew up in England was very close to the Top Gear track where they used to film Top Gear when
Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hamilton and James May filmed Top Gear, I grew up close to there. So I grew up watching it. And from a very young age, I had a special spot in my heart for Lamborghinis. And that spot has not been filled by any other car. I've driven quite a few supercars now, and there's nothing quite like driving a Lamborghini. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just arrived at the Lee Collection headquarters here in Perth, Western Australia. Behind me is the beautiful Lamborghini Huracan Performante Spyder. This is an unbelievable looking car with a few more modifications than I remembered. We've got a body kit, it's got an aftermarket supercharger on it. It's also got the Lamborghini scissor door upgrade, which is not standard on the Huracan. And all in all, very, very beautiful car. Excited to be given the opportunity to drive this and shoot some content and share a little bit about the journey with you guys. So let's jump in. The Huracan, beautiful car. Sounds good, looks good. It's given me a nice little reminder of what it is to enjoy the finer things. Like, I've had a supercar before, I subsequently sold that supercar, and I've been grinding for the last couple of years. And I've been grinding in a handful of areas that are conducive to me realizing some big goals next year, which is good. But it's nice to be able to enjoy the finer things. And when you're in an environment like this, fortunately, I'm in a privileged position where Lawrence and I have a good friendship. We have similar values. We're interested in the same things. We both giggle like schoolgirls when we're in a nice car. And I'm fortunate enough today to be given the opportunity to drive a car that holds a special place in my heart, which is the Huracan. And I'm driving it, but I'm also reflecting on the year that's passed, and I'm reflecting on my own progress this year and how far I've come in the areas of, importance to me, which is health, wealth, and mindset. I was on a webinar this morning, and I was saying this to some of the clients on the webinar. I have spent majority of this year focusing on my health. My health has had more focus than my business, more focus than my money, more focus than my social circles. I've spent a lot of time this year focusing on my health. And what's interesting is, although that's not as sexy and it doesn't sell as well as making money, making new friends, networking, etc., it doesn't sell as well. It's not as sexy. Ironically, me focusing on that this year has brought me the most success. This is the healthiest I've ever been. I'm in the most optimized state that I've ever been in. I've spent a lot of time, money, and energy this year focusing on my physical health. And off the back of that, my business has flourished. Financially, I'm in the best position I've ever been in. My social circles, my relationships, the quality of the conversations that I've had have all dramatically improved. And all I've done is focus on health. People have a bit of a cause and effect relationship when I've got money, I'll focus on my health. When I've got the perfect business and I have a little bit more free time, I'll spend a bit more time on my health. This is the wrong way to go about it. I've spent a lot of time prioritizing my health this year, and off the back of that, it's brought me a lot of success. It's brought me a lot of fulfillment. It's allowed me to spend extended periods of time in an optimized state. And I believe, this is my opinion, that in 2025, health is going to become an even bigger part of society. People are starting to prioritize health. They're starting to look into anti-aging related protocols. They're starting to prioritize their well-being. That trend will continue. Once people start to realize how much you can accomplish when you're operating at 75%, 80% or higher. People are accustomed to being at 50%, being sluggish, being inflamed, not being optimized. If you spend a bit of time in an optimized state, you will want to stay there. It's very addictive. That's my biggest takeaway for this year, and that's what I believe will be a big focus in 2025 is health. All right, guys and girls, we're back. We're back with the Lamborghini at the house. This is going to be a little walk around in the garage here. We've just got it back. First initial reactions. It actually took me a little bit to get used to the car again. I haven't driven a Huracan in a couple of years. This is quicker than my Huracan. So yeah, took me a few minutes to get used to it. This is also convertible. Definitely a lot more of a sense of occasion driving around in a convertible Huracan versus a hardtop Huracan. We have a forged carbon body kit on this car. This is slightly different to mine. There's a forged carbon body kit here. You've got side skirts and you've got a front splitter as well. This obviously being the Spyder is a convertible variant. This car actually has the comfort seats, which mine did not have. Mine had the carbon back race seats, which was basically a $27,000 saw back. The comfort seats are much comfier, I'm not sure that I would ever buy another Huracan with the race seats again. Obviously we've got these louvers in the side skirts here. We've got forged carbon bonnet, which is pretty cool. Forged carbon front splitter. Underneath here is a VF Engineering Supercharger. I don't actually know what this car makes at the wheels. It's probably maybe 600 horsepower, something like that. Aftermarket custom exhaust done by our friend Leon at Beyond Custom. This has got 4 Capristo tips on this car, which is pretty cool. The standard Huracan obviously has 2. Very, very, very cool piece of kit. Okay, so while the primary focus for this video isn't all about cars, we are driving a Huracan, and it does sound very good, and it does have a supercharger on it. So I think it would be remiss of me not to give you guys at least a little bit of insight into what it sounds like. Now, I don't know how well the sound is going to translate on this video, so we'll take the roof off and we'll see how the audio goes. I apologize if it gets a little bit windy. It is a beautiful day here in Perth, but as tradition with Perth summers, it's quite windy right now. So we will leave the windows up for the microphone's sake. We'll drop the back window. We will put it into manual mode. We'll go into sport. Now this car has a supercharger on it, so I'm envisaging it is going to be quite a bit quicker than my Huracan was. Now a Huracan has 3 modes. You've got Strada, Sport and Corsa. Strada is kind of your normal mode. Sport is obviously, as it sounds, sport mode. Sport in a car like this will actually give you a lot better noises. You get a lot of pops and bangs and snap, crackle, pops, whatever you want to call them, when you're in sport mode. Corsa is the race mode, which is what we're in now. You get less snap, crackle, pops, but oh my God. What you do get is very aggressive shifts, even more aggressive downshifts. And if your objective is to go fast, then Corsa is definitely the mode that you should be in. The downshifts on Corsa are also quite aggressive. I'm not sure if this will translate. My goodness. Now I haven't actually floored it yet. In the spirit of transparency, I'm actually quite scared to floor it. I haven't driven a supercharged Huracan before. I'm not entirely sure how fast it's going to be, and we don't have that much road in front of us, and of course we're abiding by the speed limit, so I actually need a little bit of space in order to floor it and to see what happens. So when we get some room, I'll test it out and I will report back. The downshifts on a V10 Lamborghini, specifically a Performante, are pretty unmatched. Pretty unmatched. It's difficult to describe the aggressiveness of this car, the way it accelerates and the way it changes gear, and the theatrics and the drama. One thing that Lamborghini does very well is theatrics and drama, and this car is no exception. Driving a car like this is not good for the discipline of not wanting to buy a car like this. I'm trying to delay buying another supercar as much as possible. Driving this car is not a good idea. That is not helping that cause whatsoever. All right. Let's see what this thing can do. Oh my God. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. You almost run out of road too quickly. I can't believe how fast that accelerates. That's way faster than mine was. Oh my God. Let's try that again. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Okay, so a V10 Lamborghini with a VF Engineering supercharger for probably $600,000 to $650,000, is an unbelievable value for money speed-focused supercar. I cannot believe how linear the power delivery is from the supercharger. The way that it accelerates is just seamless torque throughout the whole RPM range. It's mental. I had it in sport because I wanted it to change gear for me, but we'll go into Corsa now. Just come out of this roundabout here and we'll go into second and we'll see how it pulls in second here as we come out of the roundabout. I have no words. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness. I'm having to exercise everything I've got not to swear right now. Oh my God. A supercharged Huracan is a life hack. It's a life hack. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh my God. Guys and girls, so that wraps up 24 hours in the Huracan Performante Spyder. As you guys know, I've had a Huracan before, so this is not my first Huracan. This is the first Huracan that I've driven with a supercharger. This thing is outrageously fast. The power delivery is insane. The noises that come out of the back of it, the whining of the supercharger is, yeah, it's pretty unmatched. I think value for money wise, a Lamborghini V10 platform with a supercharger on it is about as good as it's going to get for probably $600,000. What have I done? The car's pretty practical. It's got the nose lift option, so you can drive it around, you can park it anywhere. The only thing I don't like about this car is it has aftermarket scissor doors fitted to it. So the doors on this car are retrospectively Lambo doors, as in go up Lambo doors, but they don't go straight up. You kind of have to open the door a little bit, push it out a little bit, and then push it up. Aesthetically, looks cool. Really, really Instagram friendly doors, but in terms of practicality, it's quite awkward. They're quite heavy. Yeah, not the easiest door in the world to open, but apart from that, that would be the only thing I would fault about this car. Unbelievable piece of kit. Fast, looks good, sounds good. I didn't need another reason to buy a Lamborghini. I already have quite a few. Now I have even more. Whether the next one has a supercharger or not, time will tell. But yeah, that wraps up 24 hours in the Lamborghini Huracan Performante Spyder with a supercharger. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Wake up, wake up. You keep missing out, should have stayed up. He got blacklisted, should have paid up. Pound coins in the biggie bag. Save up.
Oh my God, that takes you back.
Don't buy a Lamborghini.
What the fuck?
It's pretty rapid.
That's the fastest car I've ever been in.
It's pretty rapid, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. Don't buy a Lambo. Don't buy a Lambo. Don't buy a Lambo. Straight onto car sales. Huracan Performante.